Right, hey folks, we're back online. We're going to do some artwork this morning. What is going on? Give me a second here to check my signal, make sure that we're coming through loud and clear. I'm going to do some fast social media updates, and then we'll get to work. So sounds coming through great this morning. So all of those technical issues have been resolved at this point. Now it's an issue of making it quiet enough so it doesn't just echo me. I'm grabbing my link here real fast. It's only going to take a minute for us to do the social media updates, and then we'll be good to go. So, hey, my name is Phil Kearney. What is up? I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online, and we're creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition using a new 2024 mechanics. We're creating an adventure in the Eberron campaign setting called Crystals of Mabar. It's for characters 7th, 8th level. You're fighting necromancers, undead, and demons in the Carnwood of Karnath on the continent of Corvair. Like everything, I create, illustrate, and publish D&D content on DMsGuild. I've been doing so since 2018. I've got a slew of books that have already been published that all have free previews, so you can check all that stuff out if you're interested. Here's a bunch of books that I've published. Here's some other books that I participated in. Discord, the full playlist of all 523 episodes are here. If you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe. Hey, new subscribers, thanks a lot, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notification of when we are live in the future. And without further ado, let's dive into it. So here's the painting that we're currently working on. It's of Atur Academy in the city of Atur in Karnath. The adventure Crystals of Mabar. Essentially, somebody stole an artifact from Atur to create a manifest zone to the realm of undeath and darkness called Mabar. So crystals grow in Mabar. It replaces the soil, a natural soil of the world of Eberron, with this necrotic substance that evil plants grow out of. So as they intensify the ritual using this artifact to expand and create this manifest zone that links Mabar to Eberron, it terraforms the environment into a Mabar-like swamp that undead rise from unmarked graves, and portals open that creatures can step through, and it's way more than a local village should have to deal with. So you get pulled in to help try to save the world. So good luck to you guys. So yeah, right now we're doing some. Actually, we're going to get back into the architecture here of the academy itself. We're going to play with that for a little bit, and then we're going to go back to working on these this foreground forest here. This helps build a nice frame. And for those that are new to the channel, again, this is the 16:9 format. So when we're actually done with this, here's our text, here's our block. Let's conceal the reference. I have an opportunity here to add some extra words, including the adventure, so I think I will. But yeah, this is how it sits, and if I were to take the entire painting, nice. How would I have this sit? It'd be something like this. Yeah, we can take this like around there. Let's make this line up. This edge over here isn't masked yet, but it should line up with the text down here for border, and then over here. Something like that would be about the right size. There we go. So yeah, it'll end up looking something like this on the page when it's finished. Not bad. Good proportions. I like how it sits. It's going to look good. So for now, we're just going to leave this be. So let's drop the text. Let's add this back in. Let's get rid of the layer mask, disable layer, and we'll wrap up the trees. We'll open up the Atur Academy, and we're gonna get back to work. All right, so let's duplicate this tower here, and we're going to move it over here. Free transform. Let's take that and drop the opacity a bit. Let's bring this down. So let's see. I'm getting the I'm getting this point here and this point here to line up on this block so that the tower is the right height. One, so that's a square. That's a square. So like this is going across like this. Here, 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 roughly. Close enough though. So that should. I feel like I need to push this out a bit. Yeah, let's go to there. Bring that down. That feels about right. Actually, let's bring that back in real quick. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with where we're at. Okay, so let's see. Probably the most difficult thing for us to work on right now is going to be, let's take a look at our references real quick, because we're using a map created by Casa Stereo. On Instagram is Casa Stereo 89. On Patreon, it's Casa Stereo. Casa Stereo has been doing maps for Eberron for years. And best I can tell, this is the only reference we have to Atur Academy that exists. So we're going with it. As you can see, we're using the same color scheme and general structure here. This corner here is facing west. This corner is facing south. That one's facing north. So our perspective is basically coming from this angle here. So we got all this little foresty stuff that's going on down here that we have in our foreground. Thank you for the warning. And then we have this in the background here. So that's generally what we can see depicted and where we're at here. So game on. Hey, what's up? Defective, my guy, what's going on? Came for the art and stayed for the goat yoga. Right on, man. So yeah, we have ribs and we have the 16 spokes. We've looked at this before. Point here, point, cross, and then 1, 2, 3 grades in between. 1, 2, 3. This is going to be what we're going to do is we're going to freehand it, and then we're going to use our curved. We've created guides when we previously created this dome in the past couple episodes. So we have, that's not the one. Here we go. See, this is a dome here, so that curve is matching the actual dome itself. So once I get the guidelines drawn in, like how this should be, like that, and it looks right, we'll be able to find these curves by free transform, bringing this thing in like that to be able to create one line, and then we'll be able to drain in a little bit more to create another line, and that'll be able to create the beam that we need, and we'll be able to effectively do that on both sides. So it's just going to be a matter of just squeezing in the circle so that the arc curves along our perspective line. Super easy technique to use. It's a little fiddly though. I'm gonna have to fuck with it for a little bit. So strap in. It's time for some tomfuckery. So we're gonna give this actually a separate group. We're gonna call it ribs. And at first I'm just gonna freehand it so that we can see how things sit. And then we'll come back through and we'll do it. We'll do it right. We'll start there, and then something like this here. I am legit excited about streaming tonight. It's Thursday, so I do artwork in the morning, Monday through Friday like this, and then I do game design on Tuesday and Thursday lunch. Tuesday and Friday lunch, and Monday and Thursday night. And this is Thursday in the real world today, so that means that it's a game design night, and we've been working on Mage Tower as a combat sport. Mage Tower is the college sport that was introduced in the Strixhaven Curriculum of Chaos campaign setting for Dungeons and Dragons a couple years back. But it actually came from the Strixhaven card set in Magic the Gathering, because it's a Magic the Gathering setting. So there's this sport called Mage Tower. It's basically like, it's kind of like a cross between Quidditch and rugby. And but in the Curriculum of Chaos, it's presented as an ability check, like a skill challenge. Everyone on the team, both teams make ability checks, one ability check per person on the team, and whichever total number, cumulative number is higher, that's the team that wins. So you can finish a match of Mage Tower literally in one die roll. Everyone makes one die roll, the match is over. You could draw it out by having each person take a turn and describe how they're contributing to the team's success. But that's the same way that they handle the Bastion system. Tell, make a die roll, you're done. I'm going to make a bold statement and say that is breaking a rule of storytelling, of good story. What is it? Of good theater, of good movies is a lot of these ideas in Wizards of the Coast is tell, don't show. But what you want to do to capture people's imagination and interest and engagement is show, don't tell. So ability checks is essentially telling someone what you're doing and then making a die roll to determine whether it works or not, without going into further detail about exactly how am I going to accomplish that? How am I actually going to show you that? And I've been thinking about this, and I think that's the problem that we're having with Wizards of the Coast and 5e right now. They have neat ideas, but they don't have the investment in R&D development of how the 5e game engine can actually show how those ideas can actually be played out. So that's what the combat pillar of adventure is really good at, is showing your work. There's a lot of math, there's a lot of action economy, there's a lot of decisions that you can make in a very short period of time. It's highly engaging if you do it right. It's highly engaging, and people don't have to step away to go play with their phone or whatever. If you do it right, but there's a lack of awareness and understanding, I think, of how that process goes. And I believe that's where we're at with 5e right now. So I'm taking a lot of these ideas, like the Bastion system is tell, don't show. Spelljammer ship combat is tell, don't show. The Mage Tower competition is tell, don't show, and almost all of it's just resolved with, well, Bastion doesn't even have an ability check. It's just you say what you do and it happens. Ship combat is don't engage in ship combat. Have the ships roll up to each other so the characters can jump from one ship to the next and perform 5e combat like you're used to it. Which ship should you jump onto? Don't care. Doesn't matter. So all these things are things that we're adding depth and consequences and decision making to, and that makes it a much more rich environment. It allows the players to have far more agency in the course of the narrative of the campaign, not a story being told by the storyteller DM. Instead, a sequence of complications and problems that need solutions, and the solutions that the team chooses can or might not work, and will guide the narrative of the story based on their successes and failures in those endeavors. So that's the philosophy that we're following, and with God's grace, it's all going to work out well. So give me a second here to get this curve right. Yeah, that's okay. We're gonna have another one. This one will be easier. We'll do like that, and then that goes off screen. So we probably only actually need these two here. This one, I'm gonna redo these because they're not just sitting right. Hey, there's some text going on. What's up? Seatbelt clicks right on. Hey, Fernando. Seatbelt clicks right on. Hey, Fernando. This feels, here's a point, here's a point, here's a point there. That's probably the right place to be. See, this to there, I was kind of judging it from here to here, which is why we're over here and had this big gap. But we can see here that this is actually a more accurate center point. Something more like that. And because of the tilted perspective of looking up the building, we don't see the top of the dome. So that cool skull, we don't get to see that cool skull. But that's a small price to pay for spider piece. Sorry, that was a Rick and Morty reference. Kind of obscure. But that's a silly catchphrase that I enjoy. Now let's zoom out. I bet this could be free transform. A little bit more like that. It doesn't feel too bad. I think this should probably be tilted a bit over here. Because this really is the center point, right? Like right here. Angle. Yeah, I think that feels about right. Actually, if I was being smart, who doesn't want to be smart, right? Hey, timely timer, keeping me on time. Let's drop that out of the way, and let's go doink doink. So we actually have our dome. That's why we left this intact in as separate layers in the first place, y'all. So we bring that down there. We bring this down to here. Does that feel about right? Yeah, I mean, Kind of, yeah. Hey, what's up? What do you think about the skill challenges? What do I think about skill challenges in general? Like, oh, I can hear myself. Hold on. Let me, maybe if I think the volume, it's just, there's a shadowy bit. I can hear myself. Let's see if I can drop that down so it's not in the way. There we go. Let's see. Skill challenges. Are you talking about skill tests where multiple people are making some sort of a skill, making an ability check to determine success or not? I'm generally a favor of those ideas. It's just how is it implemented, right? It's very binary. So let me drop the opacity on this. It has a place. There's three gears that you shift inside of D&D in general. 5e, 3e. It used to be only 2 gears, in that there was social and exploration and combat in 2nd edition and earlier. Where exploration and combat were essentially the same amount of action economy, of basically making a d20 roll or like a percentile roll or some sort of a single roll to resolve, like hitting somebody in combat or climbing a wall is a percentile. And in combat, there wasn't any more action economy other than move and attack. So those 2 gears were very close to each other before Wizards of the Coast. And yeah, team skill challenges. We're probably going to go on a journey on this one. So give me a few moments here first to set myself up for success here. What is going on with this? This is no longer needed. Where's my trash drawer? Hold on. Let me get this set up so I can roam freely in conversation to not have to think about anything. Don't need that. That and that. We drop those down into the trash bin. There. Trash bin. Unnecessary. Very good. Very good. Take these. I don't like throwing things. I tend to avoid deleting layers until I'm actually done with a piece. It causes it to bloat a little bit, but I've got this trash file down here of all the layers that I don't need something for anymore, that we'll just end up destroying to reduce the file size when we're finished. But it won't impact like the JPEG or the GIF or the final publishing format. It's just file management. So let's go. First off, let's grab a different color so we can make all these stand out properly. Nice and dark for now. Thank you. I'm going to take this and we'll make it slightly opaque as well. Duplicate again for redundancy. There. Now we're in a place. And now I can probably freely converse about stuff, because God's willing, this is just going to go smoothly. Oh boy, I did not anticipate that. How do I, hold on. What I didn't anticipate is how the center point slides away from the center. So what I need to do, I have to find the center point here real quick. Hold on. I don't remember. specifically. Oh, that's what I need to do. Sorry, give me a second. Here we're going to go to free transform. Oh, it's already off. Let's delete that. Let's bring it back. Duplicate. Sorry, this is something I actually have to think about for a few moments. I can't have a legit conversation until my brain figures out how this is supposed to do. There we are. This is what I want. That'll do. Nope, that's not the way to do it. Let's go back to here, free transform. Unbind these things so that when I change the width, it doesn't change. I said unbind these things. Free transform. Oh, interesting. This is a little radial guide. Free transform. I'm learning tools, guys. Give me a second. Nice. There we go. Damn it. One more time. Free transform. Unbind. Here. Unbind. $100 there. There, finally. Jesus. And now what I want to do is just all this just for a little blip. That's all I needed, just a little blip. But on a separate layer. There, I have that center point there. Now that's the center point. Finally, holy Hannah, all that work for that. But hey, it's worth it, y'all. Now I know. Oh yeah, now I know how these tools work. Hey, this was a useful process. I'm going to need another. Sorry, I'm going to need another few moments here. Don't need that. Center is good. Separated is good. That's not how we're supposed to do it. Free transform. Separate those two things. Centered up. Don't know why you're sliding offline like that. Sorry. I'd like to have a conversation with you about skill challenges, but I'm caught up in a thing. separate those two things. Damn it. Free transform. Separate those things. We're centered, right? Fuck all. This is more challenging than I thought it was going to be. No. Come on. I'm learning how to use tools. Sorry, guys. This is the embarrassment of me learning. Oh, that'll be useful. Ooh. Free transform. Center point. I don't know why it keeps resizing. Bring this back over. Center. Center. I know, I'm sure there's a way to pin this. In position like that. I don't know how. A little bit more. There we go. And then duplicate the layer. Drop the opacity. Free transform. Put this into the center. Bring this back over. There. And now if we merge these down, I'm supposed to have a stripe. Let's unmerge them. Let's do this. There we go. There. Boy, that's a painstaking effort, isn't it? But it's accurate. I was trying to, does it make sense now? I was trying to keep the center point here and be able to create these little bands like that. See, this is where I want to be doing this, but this is actually accurate. Bloop. Get that out of the way. Now we have these set as points that we can use. And we'll do the same thing here and here. Since this is the actual center point here, I can double check real quick. Yeah. Yep. Kind of a pain in the ass, but barf. I'll do that one again. So we're going to do that again. Hopefully this time it'll be a little bit easier. So we've got middle. I'm going to duplicate this. Bring that down. We're going to do it again. Free transform. Dot. Free transform. I did it wrong. Oh, interesting. That's what that point is for. Something like that, perhaps. Ooh, almost. Yeah, there we go. We'll do that. Hold on. There we go. And then duplicate. Thank you. That's duplicate there. That's good. Free transform. Check, check, check. Free transform. Bring that in. Put it back to the center. It's a little too wide. So let's broaden that. Put it back to the center. Still a little bit too wide. There. The center. Still a little. There. There we go. All right, so we'll do that. And then how did I get that to go the other time? That's okay. So the other way to do it is, thank you, timely timer. Let's block this like that. Delete. There, and then here. What a pain in the ass, huh? This is an instance where I'm learning a new tool, so I have to think about what I'm doing, so I'm not free to have a conversation, but I'm interested in talking about skill challenges. So give me a hot second here to get this thing finished, and then we'll do that. Second. Because we're getting there. We're getting there. We're almost to that place. Duplicate the layer. Blah. Just gotta do it one more time. Free transform. Bring this up to the top. Well, that's kind of on point. No rest for the wicked, though. Let's bring it in. Here we go. And we'll duplicate this. For transform. Snap this to the top. Hey, we've gotten a lot better at doing this. It didn't take any time at all. Look at that. We're skilled. Do this. And then we do this. Delete. And then we've got why aren't you a thing? Because it's too thin. That's why. Okay. Lessons learned. Free transform. No. This one's free transform here. We bring this to here. We got that. That's good. Yeah, there we go. That should be good. Burp, and then delete. And blurp, blurp. Oh, I forgot to do it on the other side. Wait, why didn't it? Oh, right. Because I forgot to... I forgot to center it up. That's what happened. All right, so let's try that one more time. Free transform. Bring this to the center. Free transform, bring this to the center. Check, check. So a little bit more, and then we'll recenter it, more like that. We bring that back to the center. There we go. Thin stripe. There. Now we've got it. Now we can do that. And now we can do this. And now we've got it. Whew, boy, what a pain in the ass. I'm not necessarily happy about that. Hold on. Okay, yeah, I'm happy about that. Not bad. All right, we're going to let that sit. Don't need this anymore. What I want to do then is, oops. Third. There. Now we have our McRibs. Now our towers come back in. Like that. One, two, three, four. One, and then it wraps around. Perfect. Okay, great. Hey, that's exactly what we wanted to do. So this is actually coming along really nicely. What time is it? 7:22? All right. That's enough structure for now. We'll work on filigree. What I'll want to do is I want to duplicate this and then offset it and then have it be a shadow color so that we can have, so it's not, right now it's a 2-dimensional object. I want to make it 3-dimensional object. So we'll have to increase the size a little bit and then skew it so that we have like a shadow, right? That we can fill in the block, but I'm not going to do that right now. I want to have a conversation, and working like this is too hard. I can't think when I'm having, I can't have a conversation when I have to think. So I'm going to stop thinking, and I want to switch gears and go back to doing happy trees, because I can talk and not have to think when I'm doing happy trees. And that's the space that I want to be in. So let's drop down to here. Let's pick up some color. We're going to grab that color, actually. We're going to do a layer effect here. So I'm going to grab these things here. That's going to go background. I'm going to merge these, actually. Merge that group. And I'm going to grab the same conifer brush, conifer tips. I'm going to trim down this hedgy bit a bit. Fill that back in. So we're going to pick out stuff. Okay, so we can talk now. We can have a conversation about D&D and shit. So let's see, what are we talking about? Don't worry, it was just knowing your opinion. Ye good old Bob Ross style. Hell yeah, dude. I didn't understand what you were trying to say. Hey, man. Masafi. Glad to see you progressing. Yeah, everything. We just make a little bit of progress. Only have an hour and a half or so every morning. So we just make a little bit of progress, and then we work on stuff at night. And I'm still doing cartography and placement, like image placement and stuff like that on the in the document as a whole, off screen at night. And I got into a 3-hour fight with 2 pages, but I was able to beat them into submission eventually. Actually, it It was 5 hours for 4 pages. Ugh, it was brutal. I'll show it when we get there. I'll show it to you. But yeah, trying to fight the good fight. Yeah, skill challenges. It's a ability checks is a single gear, is a binary yes/no sort of decision. Combat is a high amount of action economy and multiple decisions made during each turn, which can be which is in D&D 5e is a 6-second round. In old school BECMI OSR, a round was could be a minute. Depends on how you're playing it. It could be a whole minute. Generally, it's 10 seconds of combat. And in the older style of BECMI, they narrate that there's multiple thrusts, parries, dodges, gambits, but only one significant action happens, which is what your attack roll represents, of you actually scoring an actual opportunity to score a hit on your opponents, and the die roll determines whether it was success or not. And if it is, then you deal damage, and Bob's your uncle. When Wizards took control, they increased the amount of action economy that characters have so that it's a more tactical game, and it was. You got the action, the move, which was already in BECMI, action and move, but now, depending on what kind of character it is, when you take the attack action, you got multiple attacks per round. That was a full round. And then you had swift actions, which were insignificant. A slight sort of something. It was like drawing a weapon, for instance, was like a swift action, for instance. Small little pieces, what we would probably call an object interaction now. So when they, I think 4E, because I'm shaky on remembering, because I didn't play a lot of 4E in D&D. I played 4E in Shadow in Gamma World, but not only a little bit of D&D. So I believe it was an action, bonus action, reaction, and movement. Oh, that's right. In 3rd edition, they added in reactions, but you got you could have a number of reactions equal to your dexterity modifier. So, and when you got into epic levels, you could have a lot of dexterity, and thus you could have a lot of reactions. And then 5e kind of simplified it down to only one reaction to not make it too heavy. They got rid of swift actions and bonus actions and just consolidated it into bonus actions and actions. And then, depending on your character, when you take the attack action, you can still have multiple attacks during the attack action. I spy with my eye something that needs to be trimmed. There we go. There. Good. All right, here we are. Back in the pocket. And so way back in the day, the attack was basically an ability check. You only had one attack. So if you were attacking or climbing a wall or stealing somebody's gold coins from their purse or whatever, it was just an ability check. Whether it was a percentile roll or like a 1 in 6 chance, or so you like roll a d6, or if it was a d20 that you'd make an attack roll with. Basically anything and everything that you would possibly want to do in the BECMI OSR system was, including Shadow Dark, make a die roll, and if you succeed, then you succeed. If you don't, then you fail. And so everything was essentially an ability check. It's just what kind of a tool am I using, like block picks or a sword. So it was all the same. And then we had the increased action economy of combat, where you had multiple attacks. And then combat, of course, has both attack rolls as well as damage rolls. So did I hit, and then how good did I hit? So the damage roll would represent how much of an impact did my hit have, taking away hit points from the enemy. And in 4E, they introduced the idea of skill challenges or skill tests, which was not combat. It wasn't, you didn't measure your success by the amount of hit points that you drained off your target if you hit. It was, you have to make a number of hits. So you want to hit more, you want to have a certain amount of successes before failures. So that's where the skill test, the skill challenge came from. And that it was one ability check isn't enough. You have to succeed multiple ability checks. If you're familiar with index card RPG, they kind of went in the opposite direction where you'll hit. It doesn't matter if you hit or not. You'll hit, but everything has a hit point pool. So do I want to pick this lock? Well, that lock is going to require 7 degrees of success. So I would do a damage roll with my lock picking skill instead of an ability check. Did I pick the lock? Roll the die, yes or no. Instead, in index RPG, it was I'm going to deal D6 plus 2 lock picking when I take the lock picking action. So I'm going to roll a D6 and add 2, and I rolled a 3 plus 2, 5. Okay, well this round I made 5 points of progress in picking this lock, and I know that the target number is 7, so I'm guaranteed to make it next turn, but I have to spend an extra turn doing it. And then you can basically everything works that way. Combat works that way. Lockpicking works that way. Sneaking past guards work that way. Like if I want to get past these guards, I need to hit 10 points. Like every 5 foot square I want to move is going to be a +1 to the result that I need. So if I need to move 30 feet, I need 6 or higher success to be able to clear it. And so I would make my die roll. If I didn't get at least a 6 on my die roll, then at some point on my progress, that's when the guards noticed me because I fell short. Like if I only rolled a 1, as soon as I start walking, they noticed me. If I rolled a 5, I almost got to my destination, but I fucked up in the end, and that's when they catch sight of me, and now it's a chase. So the chase, because I made this much progress, the chase is going to be degree of failure times 10. So since I failed only by 1 degree, when the chase happens, I now only need to score 10 in my runaway hit point pool. I have to whittle down 10 points to be able to get away. And yeah, so and there can be more nuance to it than that. But that's basically the index card RPG solution to inverting the idea of attack rolls and skill challenges to instead convert everything to a hit point pool of either having to hit it in one go or to whittle it down with like I have to have at least 3 points of success, but I need a total of 12. So if I can get all 12 in one go, I get it done in one round. But overall, I'll need 12 points, and like say I can only do if I score less than 3, I'll fail. As long as I get 3 or more, I'm continuing to succeed. I'm continuing to succeed at the task, but I have yet to actually fail at it because I haven't fallen below my threshold. So that's actually a really fun system. That's really viable. The skill challenges that was introduced in 4th edition D&D. It's still binary. Did I succeed the check or not? Yes or no. But then I need to get, like, say 4 successes before I fail 3 times, or I need to succeed 6 times before I fail 3 times. Generally, it's fail 3 times is your fail state, countered by how many degrees of success do I need before I fail. Kind of like with the death saving throws. I need to succeed 3 death saving throws before I fail 3 death saving throws. If I get my 3 before I fail 3, I live. If I fail 3 times before I succeed 3 times, I die. So that is the core skill challenge that exists in D&D, the death saving throw mechanic. And you can project that mechanic out into everything. If I want to pick this lock, I need 3 degrees of success, analyzing what the lock is, and then 2 checks to actually be able to disarm it. And if I succeed those 3 times before I fail 3 times, then then congratulations, I succeed the check. If I fail the first die roll, I still have 3 more chances to succeed, but that's starting to paint the narrative. Right off the bat, I haven't succeeded at figuring out what the fucking thing is. So like if I fail the first die roll and I'm trying to identify what it is, it's like it seems like it has some sort of a sliding panel, but you haven't sussed out exactly how that panel operates. Make another die roll. If I fail again, it's like, oh, it seems like it's getting caught on something, but I don't understand what it's getting caught on. I'm nowhere near disarming this thing yet. I'm already down 2 and I haven't succeeded once. Okay, great. Well, let's make another ability check. Great, I succeeded this time. It's like, okay, well, there's a catch mechanism that if I release that, it opens up the panel, but that actually reveals the actual lock mechanism. And I can tell there's these little clicking things that are happening as I'm trying to open up the panel. So I know that the lock is becoming sensitive. So I'm going to need to. I still have 2 successes that I need. And I've got 2 degrees of failure. So if I fuck up this lock pick at all, I'm not going to be able to open the lock. So I make a die roll, say I succeed. It's like, great, you get your tools in there. You think you're jiggling the lock. It's not quite there. Give me 1 more ability check. And then you make a final ability check. If you pass the ability check, great. You catch it, you spin it, it pops open. Bob's your uncle. You pass the you've gotten the door open. So that's a real grindy detail way of looking at how you're lockpicking, and that's what a skill challenge is. It could be an ability test, like with Strixhaven. It's everyone is like you have 6 people on your team. Everyone's going to make an ability check. Use whatever ability you want and whatever skill that you want that you can provide a narrative for. Like, explain to me how your carpentry skill is helping you in this match of Mage Tower. And say you want to apply charisma to it. Okay, convince me that charisma plus carpentry equals successful match of Mage Tower. Okay, and then they explain it, and you're like, okay. And if everyone's like that smells like bullshit, then it's going to be with disadvantage. If it smells right, then it's with normal. There you go. And then you make your ability check, and you either succeed or fail. And then the whole team is, in the instance of Mage Tower, it's kind of like index card RPG, where the total results that you get on your skill challenge, the total results is measured against the total results of the enemy team, and whichever team scores scores the higher total is the team that wins, yes or no. And then you could say like every 5 points of success equals 1 goal, for instance. So if it was like 47. A result of 47 versus a tally result of 32. Round down, it was 9 versus 6. That's how the match ended. Silver Quill won 9-6. So that's a more index card RPG sort of approach to ability checks. Everyone contributes. Or everyone that wants to contribute contributes, but like you need 5 successes before you have 3 failures. But if only 2 people are attempting the test, then you're going to require at minimum 3 rounds for you to be able to complete that task. If everyone decides to dive in on the task at the same time, then you could, and you've got 5 people on your team. If everyone succeeds, we can get this thing done in 1 round. So stacking a skill challenge with a combat scenario is a fun design idea. Like, this is going to take 6 completions to finish. If you have a team of 4 and only 1 person is trying to open that door, and they need 6 successes, then they're going to be there for 6 rounds trying to complete it. If the team can dispatch the enemy threat that they're holding off while you work on that lockpick, if they finish it in 4 rounds, then you now have 3 people helping that rogue. You now have 4 people working towards 6 successes, and you've gone 4 rounds. Maybe the rogue has finished 2 successes and 1 failure, and just succeeded the third on the 4th round. You still need 3 successes. The enemy is dispatched. So now you have 4 people that can dump in their action economy to help. in succeeding on the ability check and then get it finished the next round. Or you could have a timer where like each round, each turn or round that this is still active, it's going to deal area of effect. So like a good trap idea might be like this is going to deal, this is going to pump poison gas into the room until you figure out how to stop the gas. And it's going to deal 5 points of poison damage to everybody that's in the room every round. And it's going to take 6 successes to end the poison trap. Every time you fail, it increases the amount of damage that it deals per round by 1. So, and you can have, it doesn't matter how many failures you have, you can keep failing, but it's going to keep increasing the amount of damage that it deals to your team every time that you do. So go ahead and succeed or fail as much as you want. I'll eventually kill you with poison if you don't figure it out. And now you're under a pressure of, well, we have to get those 6 successes, but fuck, I don't know who we actually want to have participate to make sure that we don't fail, because that wizard only has 20 hit points left. So maybe we need to spend a couple extra rounds risking the wizard dying, but making sure only our experts are hitting it, so we aren't increasing that 5 hit points per round threshold. Because we can't have the wizard taking 10 hit points, because that means we only have 2 rounds. And we need 3 rounds to succeed this with 2 experts. So like there's a fun challenge jiggle in there. Like you can play with those different metrics. So I'm generally in favor of those ideas. It's when it's a single die roll, like a single die roll that multiple people have to make as a single. Like you need like everyone make a die roll, and if we have more successes than failures, then you succeed at the task. That you may as well just have one person do that die roll. That's not really fun. There has to be some sort of decision-making challenge that goes with it, like the hit points over time is a good example of that. Like every time you having a consequence that's attached to each failure is generally a good way to go. Like every time you like you have to make 3, like you have to make you need 3 skill you need 3 success, how to put it, everyone has to make a stealth check to get past the guards. And if one person fails, the guards notice. That is a little bit too binary, because you could have somebody with a shitty stealth check that just tanks it for the entire team, and that used to be how it actually worked. But another way that you can do it is you need to have every time you fail, another guard takes notice, or another guard becomes curious, or like you have a curiosity threshold where they'll become curious, and then like they can, like the first fail they'll just discard it. 2 failures, they're now curious. 3 failures, they are now suspicious, and with 4 failers, they now raise alarm, and you can't all stealth is at disadvantage, and you only have 2 chances of failure before it goes. They're already suspicious. So like you have 1 chance of failure, and then now they'll every time you fail your stealth check, they'll reveal your location, and now you have to fight your way through it. For instance. So it's encounter design in that vein. Hold on. Nope. Just gonna leave that be. Let's grab that. Drop it down to a lower highlight. Nope, that's not the way I want to do it. There, this is how I want to do it, like that. With this. Why aren't you doing... Oh, because I had to highlight somewhere else. Cool, there we go. So that's some rambling about ability checks. I'm generally in favor of them, but it's a matter of what's the narrative? What's the circumstance? Like, is it what kind of an ability check? Is it like just a simple thing? Like for example, degrees of failure. I use degrees of failure on information most of the time. When someone asks something, I usually have a default answer where you're going to get useful information to be able to move the plot forward no matter what. Like if you're doing an investigation and you're searching a scene, and you have to find a clue to be able to move on to the next point. Like you have to find the diary hidden in the desk. It's like, well, I'm going to search the room. Well, no matter what, you're going to find the diary in the desk. But depending on how successful you are, you might find a letter that was hidden, or you might find a photograph of somebody, or like a wad of cash, or like a bloody knife or something. You'll find something extra, something more that isn't necessary for you to move on to the plot points, but provides you a clue or maybe some sort of indication about threats that'll be at that next point, intent that was behind that clue, or maybe an additional clue that you don't know what it's for yet, but once you clear the next obstacle and you're presented with your next challenge, you'll realize that that second clue, like you find a key, right? It's like, oh, you found the diary and you found this key. If you don't find the key and you follow the diary to go to the bank vault where all of their treasure is hidden or whatever, if you found the key, then it's easy. You can open the bank vault, no problem. If you didn't roll well, you didn't find the key, and now you're presented with the challenge of picking the lock to get into the safe, for instance. So you can have you can have degrees of success. Pathfinder's really into that with like their crit, with their crit fails and crit successes. When you roll 10 above the target armor class, you automatically crit, for instance. That's a very Pathfinder approach to it, which is basically just degrees of success, and then you grind that out into all of the ability checks. Like if I'm crafting something, I can make a masterwork product that gives me a bonus to my rolls if I roll 10 above the crafting check, or I hit the crafting check, or if I roll like 5 below the crafting check, it's flawed, so it has a penalty when I use it, but it still works. If I fail by 10, it's not even, I can't even use it. It's completely unserviceable. It's like you have these different degrees of success inside of an ability check as well. I use the proficiency die in the Bastion campaign as well as in the Spelljammer combat and exploration. In that instance, I'm using a proficiency die where you're making an ability check, but instead of having a flat bonus to the die roll plus your ability plus an ability modifier, we use the proficiency die, which is like at first level it's a D4, at 5th level it's a D6, at 9th level it's a D8, at 13th level it's a D10, and at 17th level it's a D12. So you have 5 ranks: D4, D6, D8, D10, D12 from 1 to 5. I'm really into ranks of 1 to 5 in general in my 5e design. And so when you're in this instance, in this example, when you are making an ability check, you're going to, like for Spelljammer, for instance, when you attack with a siege weapon, it's not a normal attack roll. It's a siege check. So it's an ability check with the siege weapons, and you're commanding a crew of creatures to load, aim, and fire the weapon as part of your siege command. So you make your D20, and then you use your command die, which is whatever ability check you prefer. And then whatever your rank is, you add that die roll to it. So you'd have like a d20, say my charisma is a 16. So it'd be d20 plus 3. And then I have the command die that I roll. And say at 9th level, it's a d8. So I'd roll a d20 plus 3 plus a d8. That d8 is added, instead of your proficiency modifier, the die roll is added to your ability score plus the result of your die to see if you hit the target armor class, like say armor class 20. If I got at least a 20, there you go. In the command, and with this command die, there's a reload score. Like say if I'm firing a ballista, it has a reload score of 3. So on my proficiency die, if I rolled at least a 3, my team automatically reloads the weapon as part of attacking with the siege weapon. So I can fire it again with another command this turn. If my team failed the die roll, or if I didn't roll high enough on the command die, I didn't successfully have my team reload. So now I have to spend an extra action, bonus action, or a reaction to issue a separate command for them to reload the weapon. So if I don't roll well on my proficiency die, it's going to cost extra, it's going to cost extra action economy for me to be able to use that weapon again. So that's another way that you can mess around with an ability check. You could have a number of people that instead of having advantage, you could start stacking people on top of it. So instead of having multiple advantage rolls, you get advantage first, and then every other person that helps, it becomes a D4, and then a second person, it's a D6 instead. A third person helping is a D, up to 5 people helping you. If you have 6 people helping your action, you have advantage, and you're going to roll an extra D12 to succeed at that task. Everyone is going all in on this. But if all you're doing is crawling around a dungeon and you don't have anything pressuring your time, everyone is always going to just dump all their action economy into helping you because they don't have anything better to do right now. So if you're going to use alternate ability check options, you want to think about what pressure is being put on them. What's the consequence of failure? If it's a binary decision, yes, no, then dogpiling a task isn't going to, it's just going to make the task easy because they're all just standing around anyway, waiting to do something interesting. That's why so often people are like, oh yeah, I want to help with that action. Can I help? That you want to think about that and like, well, what kind of scenarios could crop up that would allow them to participate in that? So you have to have consequences to the actions of failure. Okay, that's better. Hopefully that makes sense. I've been word salading for a while. Hopefully that's entertaining. In the Bastion campaign, you issue order to your hirelings to perform tasks like research this spell for me, or craft this sword for me, or establish a trade route so we have access to wheat. You know, these are different tasks that you can give your hirelings, and it's an ability. It's a proficiency die, and the proficiency die that you roll isn't based on your level, but it's based on how developed is the facility. Like if you have a really well developed workshop and you want to build a clock, that clock might have like a DC 20 to create, but your team is rolling say is a third ranked team, so they're rolling a D8 and they get a +3 bonus. So it's D20 +3 plus D8. So it'll be anywhere from 5 to 31 that they could roll. So a difficulty of 20 is they've got about a 40% chance of succeeding on making that clock on the first go. The proficiency die adds in the proficiency die. If you fail the die roll and the proficiency die is roll, that represents your team not working well together. And so when you fail a die roll in the Bastion campaign system, if you fail the die roll, it creates a complication, meaning that you're creating an adventure hook for you to solve. Why can't your team make this fucking clock? Well, there's something weird going on with it. And then you can roll up. You can use a table to roll a random encounter, like a random plot hook involving you creating that clock and what's gone awry with it. And that becomes an adventure seed that your characters can go on, that if they go on the adventure, they'll automatically be able to resolve. You can now make that clock, plus whatever else they discover in the adventure to go along with it. Or you can just relegate it to your hirelings to try to solve the problem that they created using a different skill. So like if I was using crafting at 3rd rank and I failed, maybe the issue is we don't have the right type of, like, we don't have the right resources, the material that we need to make the clocks. And now your team has to go out and requisite the material component, the materials that you need to make that clock. So that's going to be a trade check, and maybe you're only 2nd rank in trade. So you'd roll a d20 plus 2 plus d6, but the difficulty is still a 20. So it's even more likely to fail. Not only your team maybe would have been able to make the clock if they had the right resources, but they can't get the right resources because they just failed that die roll as well. Do you want to make that an adventure hook? If you do, now your team has to go find and negotiate a resource for you to be able to make your clock. So it has this cascading effect of eventually your characters, either you're going to let it go because your hirelings keep failing and you're tired of them failing, so your characters are going to get involved, because if they're involved, they're automatically going to succeed, and that becomes your adventure this week. So you can build an episodic sort of campaign, or if your team just eventually gives up. It's like, no, we've wasted way too many resources. Let's just go find and buy a clock. So maybe it'll be quicker for us to do it that way. So like, there's different ways you can make these. There's different ways you can sort those things out. Hey, what's up? And every time he distracts the guards, he gets beaten up. That's the only skill challenge I could create. They're not easy. I did a skill challenge where the players had to rescue a captured NPC. Every time they fail a stealth check, the captured character tries to distract the guards. Right on. They're not easy to do. That's one of the big problems with the skill challenge, is how to not make it repetitive. Index card RPG solution of using a hit point pool reduces the need. The narrative can be more fluid, or you can just skip the narrative. It's like, yeah, you're still working on the lock. There you go. You know, you haven't whittled down the hit point pool enough yet, so you're still working on it. It's not done yet. Keep at it. Like, you hit the goblin, you did 5 points of damage. Not everything has to be an epic, an epic description of some sort of amazing event that happens. Sometimes you're just poking people. Sometimes you're just trying to dig around. I broke my pick. Let's get another pick out. Okay, we're going to dig at that. Let's do this. Let's go down here. I want to tap in some of this in here. There we go. And I'm out of time. I don't know if this was a good day or not. Who knows? Well, we figured out the ribbon on the dome. That's great. I figured out how to use those tools. That's a massive asset for my future endeavors. I'm proud of that. Let's toss in some of this here real quick before we go, just to dot it in. Now that we have the actual structure of the academy built, when we come back, we can start doing detail work on the towers, detail work on the walls, like stones, like the brickwork, windows, random stuff in the windows potentially. We'll see how it shakes out. I'm adding here, and then I'm erasing here with the same type of brush. There. And it's about time for me to go. So I'm going to be back. We're going to continue. We're building characters. We're creating athletes using the Color Mana system, the Martial Power system, and all the updated tech that we have for 2024 characters. On Tuesday, we built a 7th level Sorcerer Center Guard. I don't know what kind of a character we're going to make this time. I think I'm just going to roll a die. I think I'm just going to roll a random number, and whatever number we land on, that's the kind of character I'm going to make. I'm going to get rid of this a little bit, and we're going to poke at this a little bit. Pardon the pun. We're going to poke at this a little bit tomorrow morning as well when I get bored of doing structural stuff. I think I'm going to work on this tower here, so we have tower language. And then the next session we'll spend here doing this body structure here, just creating texture and a stone pattern for materials, because it's not just a solid block. It doesn't look realistic, so we have to add in some diversity to it. But I am really out of time. I need to go, but the muse, she's not letting me go yet. She wants me to fuck around for another minute, apparently. Oh, she didn't like that. She wanted that gap to go away. I get it. I hear you. I feel you, girl. There. That feels better already. Good call, girl. Nice. Not going to leave that be. Okay, cool. That's it. That's it for now. We'll be back tonight to work on Strixhaven. That'll be at around 6 o'clock, which is 10 hours from now. Shit, I'm late. All right, that's it, guys. Thanks a lot for being around, guys. I really appreciate you. And yeah, if you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I'm here 5 days a week. So, cheers.